Now we're back to our final tutorial, and this is to actually show you how to go ahead and start streaming and encoding using Wirecast and YouTube. So let's just go ahead and go back into Wirecast. So I'm opening it down here in the bottom. I usually like to keep it as a hotkey so it's easier to get into. I'm just going to pull back that profile that I had created earlier. So I'll just put something up. It doesn't really matter. It's more or less how to get to the other part. So I'm here and I'm ready to stream. So what first needs to happen is you need to be setting up all your output settings first. And here you can decide, what you want to stream to exactly. You can go ahead and just press RTMP server if you want, or you can go the other route and say destination, I'm going to YouTube. And this allows you to, YouTube has basically created a preset that they've partnered with Telestream and Wirecast for. So you need to go ahead and authenticate it. And this is where you'll type in the same information that you had done earlier for your client. So this is connected to YouTube/Google. So I'm just going to type that information in again. And this is authenticating the fact that you are going to have access to stream on that specific channel. So now you see that it's authenticated and it's preset with YouTube, which is great. Now the next thing is that it actually lets you choose which game that you want to stream to. Okay, so for instance, earlier in the tutorial, I created a test one. Right there at the bottom, you'll see that test one that I created. These are all the games that have been created as live events that I want to stream with. So obviously, if we're getting ready for the first game of the year, I'm going to click this one to stream to, okay, and I'll press OK. If I'm halfway through the season, I'm getting ready, it's Saturday afternoon, and I'm getting set up at the venue, and we're going to be streaming for the Richmond game, I'm going to click this one, and then you'll press OK. In this case, we're going to do the test stream, obviously, and I'm going to press OK. All right. Now, you can see here, after I authenticated, it actually showed what I'm encoding in, 720p, and that's because earlier in the tutorial when we were setting up the game in the back end of the YouTube channel, remember we created it as 720p, okay? Now, there's all these different options, and I suggest just keeping it as 720p recommended. The only difference would be that if we went to this, you'll see that the bit rate, how it goes up really high, and I just don't feel like in most venues we'll have the opportunity to do that. It basically puts it half as much. But 2628 in a stream is incredible. So if for some reason the internet at the facility is not good enough, you'll need to go into the back end of YouTube and change it to 420p or however you want to do it, or 480, and do it that way. But remember, you got to do that prior to starting your stream. Otherwise, you're going to have to close that stream out, start a new one, and that's not what you want to do because fans aren't going to know when you change links, and the client won't probably either, especially if it's really close to game time. So this is recognized because it was recognized in the back end of YouTube. So I'm just going to press OK. So now, whenever you're ready to stream, you can press this stream button right here, okay? And we'll show you what that looks like. Let's open up YouTube and sign in. And I'm already in my channel, but so I'm going to go to Video Manager. Now the whole in the back end of YouTube, I suggest having this on a separate laptop so that you're not having to do both of these things on the same one during the game, or preparing for your live webcast. So I'm going to go down to the live events, and you see that we have this test stream sitting here. All right. Let me just change this real quick so that we can actually use this right now. Okay, so what's happening is I'm getting ready to stream this. Now, I usually like to have this on a separate computer. Remember, this is just a web browser, so it can be done from anywhere or any computer that has internet. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am actually going to open this live control room, and this has to be done for every game. And you're seeing that it's not receiving any data yet. Okay, that means it's not encoding. That's why I haven't pressed this stream button yet. The second I press this stream button, it's going to start pushing out a stream. And in about 10 seconds, you're going to see right in here, see how it says good? And that's because it's seeing that I pressed that stream button. As you can see. Okay. So now you're going to press preview. Are you sure you want to start? Blah, blah, blah. Yep. We're repairing your live stream. This is basically a check and balance system that YouTube sets up so that you just can't turn on your computer and press stream. They check your internet bandwidth, your stream status, all that kind of stuff. Okay? So as we're waiting here, you're still seeing what's happening. And in a second, it's going to actually change right there, as I said it. Start streaming. You're going to press that. Are you sure you want to start streaming? Yes. And now your event is starting, and it will show you when it's actually started. And now we're streaming, okay? So you can see it right here that it's streaming. So the second that you're done streaming, and this obviously, this thing can be, I would suggest to do this web browser part on another computer, okay? So let's just say it is on another computer, and you're over here streaming, and you're at the end of the game. I want to fade to black. Boom. I'm going to press off the stream button. Okay. And as you see, it went off, and watch this. This is going to go back to bad, or it's going to say not streaming, or we don't see anything. See, exactly. We are not receiving an encoder, or receiving data from the encoder. And that means you're done with your stream. So you're going to say, I'm done, stop. Let's stop the stream. The second that you stop that stream, you can't stream on that live URL, YouTube live video anymore. Okay. So if, let's say your computer crashes or something, you can still use this. Let's say your computer crashes. Well, this web browser will just say no data, that it's not receiving it. You haven't closed out the webcast completely at that point. Then what we do, if it had crashed or something, you just pull Wirecast back up, get all the settings back, choose the proper game, and then just start pressing stream again, and you'll see this come right back up that, hey, I'm receiving data, I want to continue streaming. Okay. When you're completely done streaming for that specific event, that's when you would press stop streaming. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the event manager, and now you don't see that game or that test stream webcast anymore. Okay, that's because in the upcoming, that's not an upcoming event anymore. Okay, let's go to completed, and you're going to see that test stream right here. That means it's completed because we just finished streaming it. All right, does that make sense? What happens then? Eventually, about 45 minutes to 2 hours after the stream is completed, it moves from here to your upload section, but it also stays here. Okay. And what's going to happen is that you can log in anytime after that point, and right here where it says edit, there's also going to be a drop-down menu that populates, and down there it's going to say download MP4, and that's how you can actually get the archive from the back end of YouTube and be able to use that in case something happens on your local hard drive or local archive where you've tried to create a separate copy of the game. Okay, so this is a backup of a backup of a backup. So full redundancy here. Okay, so it's basically capturing whatever you streamed, and it's doing it in its full native resolution, and they just compress it. That's why it takes a little bit of time for it to show up. Okay, so I believe that's everything in regards to streaming it, and then you just exit out of it, and I'm just going to delete this because we don't really need it anymore. But you guys don't need to delete anything ever. You can leave it all in there. And then that's deleted. And I can just close this out. Again, I just save it. and exit it.